Zach, before we go, it's important to note so many of other companies, while we've been focused so much on the tech names, there's been a number of companies that have come forward in response to those Capitol riots that played out last week. The very latest here, we're talking about banks, JPMorgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup saying they're going to be halting all political donations until further review. Of course, Morgan Stanley moving forward, saying that they will specifically be halting donations to Republican lawmakers who initially were moving forward with the disrupting the electoral count vote there. But we've also had a number of companies outside of the financial space there. Facebook a few hours ago coming out and saying they will be suspending political donations at least for the first quarter. Ford freezing PAC contributions. It does feel like a lot of these companies, just like we saw during the Black Lives Matter protests over the summer, being forced to respond in some way, probably feeling the pressure both internally but also from investors.
Yeah, and I mean, critics might be quick to point out that, look, freezing PAC donations here for 6 months might not matter all that much, considering, we just got done with some pretty important elections, and the next few months here don't really have any on the docket. So they might say, look, it's nice in the short term to maybe think a bit more about what you're throwing your money and support behind, considering, the implications they might have, which we saw play out over last week. But there are, I guess, more questions to be raised here about what Democrats might want to do with their new power when it comes to political fundraising. Of course, a lot of those candidates have been focusing more, as well as we should say President Trump as well. He was able to raise a lot of more money in terms of smaller donations, smaller political donations across the country for more people. So we've seen maybe a rollback in terms of the importance of raising money from some pretty serious companies here and big donors. But still, I mean, optically, from a lot of these companies, you don't want to be caught up in certain movements that might harm your brands. So maybe it's not a surprise to see freezing here for 6 months at Kiko, but still, the long-run implications of PAC donations are going to be important when we approach the next election cycle.
Yeah, certainly a lot of skepticism around the intention of these companies. And to your point about donations for President Trump, we had Stripe also coming out and saying they're going to be pulling their payment services from his campaign website. So this is an ongoing story.